Nigeria as a country is nearly 4 times as big as Ghana, and their population is almost 7 times the population of Ghana's. But in recent years, Nigerians have moved to every corner of Ghana. I mean every corner. From all the way in the Upper East to the Upper West, to the Savannah, Volta, Western, Ashanti region, and even to Accra. From the very interior villages to the main city centers, Nigerians are found everywhere in Ghana today, ladies and gentlemen. Take, for instance, a town called Zebila, which is in the Upper East region of Ghana. It is a small town which many Ghanaians have no idea where to locate it on a map, but the Nigerians are there. And it's not just their men, but their young women too. So I had to look into why they've decided to move to Ghana in spite of Ghana's limited land size and resources in comparison to theirs. Folks, this is what I found, and it will blow your mind. The third reason will blow your mind, I promise you. Now, reason number 1, electricity availability. This is the most obvious one. But think about it. Everything we do in society from morning to dawn today is one way or the other connected with electricity usage. Charge your phone, watch television, see your way around at night, dressmakers, shops, factories, banks, churches. Everything is connected to the grid, ladies and gentlemen. So the moment lights are taken or the supply is unpredictable, everything is either disorganized or comes to a standstill. I remember some 9 years ago when Ghana was immersed in total darkness. It was a nightmare and unproductive to the core. Nothing worked and life became frustrating, ladies and gentlemen. This made some people leave the country, but not as much numbers as they are leaving Nigeria. Today, Ghana provides a relatively far better, stable electricity supply and access to the entire country, making it attractive to young men and women coming from Nigeria. So, in as much as this is a major reason Nigerians are emigrating, this in itself isn't the core reason. That will be reason number 3. Now, on to the number 2 reason. Reason number 2 is peace and security. I'll be honest with you folks. If I were a Nigerian, I would leave the country by all means necessary for this one reason alone. When kidnapping becomes a regular occurrence and it's not particularly on the number 1 list of problems to solve or the government wants to solve and the national security apparatus is implicated in it, this becomes a dangerous condition to endure both for the rich and the poor. But unfortunately, that's what is happening there. When religious extremism is common and national security agencies are sitting aloof and the federal government is playing politics with it, ladies and gentlemen, that is a crisis. When you need to hire armed bodyguards and police motorcade as a successful man or woman to make your way around on a daily routine, that is problematic, ladies and gentlemen. When armed robbery is orchestrated with impunity and you don't see practical government plans of shutting it down, you should know you could be in danger at any point in time, whether on the road or at the comfort of your home. This is one of the reasons many Nigerian youth and businessmen are moving to Ghana. Ghana's reputation for political and social stability makes it an appealing haven. Ghana offers a more peaceful environment for families and entrepreneurs alike. And like I said earlier, folks, if I were a Nigerian at this point, I would have left as well, because even when you are successful, this is the sad truth, you can never be comfortable to let your guards down at any point in time because you don't know what is about to happen. This one reason alone is still not the main reason many Nigerians have relocated to Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the number 1 reason why they are running to Ghana. Check this one out at number 3. And this is going to be very, very arguable. This is it. Many Nigerian youth have moved to Ghana because of economic reasons. Let me explain. You see, no matter the circumstances in your country, you may continue or choose to continue to live in your country irrespective of even the 2 reasons I've provided above, especially when you are making some good money and you can provide security for yourself and your loved ones, and ladies and gentlemen, when you can also provide your own electricity. But the moment you realize you are young and strong and you have needs and your circumstances aren't changing, but you can make more money living in another country than living in your own country, you naturally, by way of survival, begin to consider moving elsewhere, ladies and gentlemen. Let me cut to the chase with this one. The standard of living in Ghana is higher than the standard of living in Nigeria. This is a fact. But that's also true for the USA. The standard of living in America is higher than the standard of living in Ghana. Meaning, the cost of eating and renting and going about your daily life in America is quite higher than the cost of doing the same things in a country like Ghana. But all the same, Ghanaian youth will do almost anything to get to America in spite of their high cost of living. Why is this so, folks? It's because of the job opportunities America presents and the American currency itself. Same is happening to Nigeria, folks. Ghana is becoming to Nigeria what America is to Ghana. I repeat, Ghana is quickly becoming to Nigeria what America is to Ghana. And that is the two key things: a land of opportunities and a country with a higher currency. So even though Nigerians know that living in their own country is less expensive compared to living in Ghana, they will still relocate to Ghana. This is because even though Ghana's currency may not buy much in Ghana, it will buy so much in Nigeria. Let me give you one very clear example. Today in Ghana, many of the Nigerian young men here sell mobile phone accessories on a cart they push around. It's very common. To the local Ghanaian, the profit from that trade is just too small to live on. But the Nigerian guys knows how much the same profit translates in their own currency and the volume of things it can buy in Nigeria. And so they've dominated in that trade everywhere you go in Ghana. The situation is exactly the same case for people from Niger and Togo living in Ghana. The Nigerians have also dominated in the trade of moving around with a pair of nail cutters to cut nails. Artisans in the POP and certain building and construction jobs are dominated by people from Togo. Why? Because even though the profit from it is small to the Ghanaian or to anyone spending that money in Ghana, the same profit will do more to them in their own countries. So I can therefore emphatically say that Ghana is now the new abroad to Nigeria, to Togo and Niger. If you put your bias aside and the insults and you look at the facts provided, you may come to a similar conclusion. Currently in Ghana, there is not a single town or city without the presence of Nigerian nationals. It's impossible, folks. If you look around and you don't find one, it's because the Nigerian national has lived there so long, he or she has learned to speak our local language and has perfectly assimilated in that community. And this is not to throw shade at Nigerians, but to send a word of message to the government of Nigeria that these three problems, ladies and gentlemen, in their country are non-negotiable. It must be resolved at all costs and by all means necessary, ladies and gentlemen. Nigeria needs peace and security. Nigeria needs stable electricity supply. And Nigeria needs economic improvement, ladies and gentlemen. According to the National Bureau of Statistics in Nigeria, the NBS of Nigeria, in 2022, 63% of Nigerians were multidimensionally poor. The same body in 2023 stated that approximately 46% of Nigerians, equating to about 104 million individuals, were living below the international poverty line of $2.15 per day. So obviously, this is not something I am making up. It is a fact and it's a public knowledge. This is unacceptable for a country that has so much Ladies and gentlemen, the self-acclaimed giant of Africa seems to be sleeping, and it's even affecting their national men's football team. If indeed they are the giants of Africa, then the sleep time is over. They need to get up and make their changes to their society. They have to change their story. This is the extent I can go with this for now. I'll come your way with another one very soon. Be sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell for more of my videos. God bless you, and may God bless Nigeria in these bad times. It's bye-bye for now.